Imagine for a second that I'm standing right in front of you. I'm wearing the long black trench coat, the tiny sunglasses. I'm fully committed to the 1999 aesthetic.
Okay, I'm with you.
I hold out my hands.
Yeah.
In one, I have a blue pill.
Yeah.
You take it, you wake up in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
In the other, a red pill. You take it, and you see how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Which one are you taking?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that since you've tuned into the Deep Dive Lab, you've probably already swallowed the red pill.
I would hope so.
You're not here for the comfortable illusion.
Exactly. But here's the twist. And this is where the research we're covering today gets a little disorienting.
Right away.
That reality you think you're seeing after taking the red pill, it's arguably still a simulation.
It is. It's just one that's running inside your own skull.
And that is the core theme of the literature we're unpacking today. We're looking at a huge paper, The Science of Belief, a comprehensive literature survey, and another one on the roles of belief in human evolution.
And they both kind of circle around this idea that what we call reality is a construct. The researchers use a specific term for it.
Oh, I love this word.
A story like,
Welt. Welt. It sounds very serious, very philosophical, maybe a little bit like an indie band from Berlin.
It does have a ring to it, doesn't it? It's German for environment, but in biology, it's about the specific world an organism lives in.
So like a bat lives in a world of sonar echoes.
Exactly. A dog lives in a world of smells. And humans. We live in an, built almost entirely on belief.
Just to set the stakes here, because I think people hear belief and they
tune out.
They tune out. We aren't just talking about believing in ghosts or aliens or believing that The Empire Strikes Back is the only Star Wars movie that matters.
Which is an objectively correct belief, but we can debate that later.
We'll save that for the mailbag.
Yeah.
But no, we are talking about the biological hardware, the actual machinery in your brain that makes it possible for you to hold a conviction about anything at all.
Right. Why do we do it? How does it even work? And why is it so incredibly hard to change our minds?
Even when the facts are just staring you in the face.
That is the mission today. We are popping the hood on the human brain to look at the engine of belief. We're talking neuroscience, evolutionary psychology, and maybe a little bit of existential dread.
Welcome to the lab. Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
So, if we're going to understand the mechanics, we have to start with the history, the deep, deep history. Why do humans evolve this capacity to believe in things we can't see or touch?
Because biologically, it seems like a massive waste of energy, doesn't it?
It seems so inefficient.
Right. Why waste calories thinking about spirits or abstract truths? But the paper on evolution argues the exact opposite. It suggests that belief is an evolutionary superpower.
A superpower.
It's arguably the main reason we survived when other hominids didn't.
Because physically, let's be honest, we're kind of underwhelming. We're not the strongest, definitely not the fastest.
No claws, no venom. You put a human in a cage fight with a chimp, the human loses. Every time. But we have one specific advantage. We are the best at cooperating.
Now, some people might say, what about ants? What about bees? They cooperate.
They do, but that's hard-coded, isn't it? An ant doesn't have a choice. It's just running a script.
It's biological programming.
Exactly. An ant from one colony will attack an ant from another on sight. Humans, on the other hand, cooperate with strangers. Millions of them. We build cities and economies with people we have never even met.
And the research says we do that through shared myths.
We do it through stories. It's what I like to call the Marvel Universe principle.
Okay, walk me through the Marvel connection here.
Think about the Avengers. You've got a Norse god, a super soldier from the 40s, a snarky billionaire in a metal suit. They have nothing in common.
They should probably be fighting each other.
They should. But they have a shared belief in a mission, a shared story, and that allows them to assemble.
And early humans were the same.
Precisely. We moved from small tribes, where everyone knew everyone, to these massive groups. How do you trust a stranger? You create a moralizing god, or a sacred ritual, or a national identity that everyone agrees on.
So if I see you wearing the same totem, or, the same sports jersey, I know you follow the same rules. I know you're not going to kill me in my sleep.
Exactly. The research calls this moving into a transcendent reality. We stopped living just in the physical world of there's a tiger run and started living in this mental world of shared meaning.
It also touches on emotional regulation, which makes a ton of sense. The world was a terrifying, chaotic place.
And belief gives you a script. It turns that chaos into meaning, it reduces anxiety, and that's huge. If you believe there's a reason for the lightning storm, you feel a sense of agency. You're not just paralyzed.
Okay, so belief is the software that let us organize and, well, take over the planet. Let's switch to the hardware, because this is where things get really granular.
Yeah, beliefs aren't these floaty, abstract thoughts. They have a physical address in the brain.
Which brings us to a concept called the credition model.
Credition, right.
It sounds like something a bank would try to sell me. Sign up for Credition Plus today.
It does, doesn't it? It's basically a mashup of credence, which is belief, and cognition. The model says belief is a manufacturing process. It's perception plus valuation.
Evaluation.
Yeah,
So you're assigning it a personal meaning.
you got it. The brain isn't a passive camera just recording the world. It's an active film editor. The camera records raw footage, bright light and sky.
But the editor decides what's important.
It adds the ominous music. It cuts the scene to tell a story. It labels that light UFO or angel or weather balloon.
And we know where this editor sits in the studio.
We have a pretty good idea. And this is where we get to the neurobiological underpinnings. The media loves to call them the God neurons.
Which sounds incredibly dramatic.
It's a bit of a catchy simplification, but the science is fascinating. Neuroimaging shows that when people form or recall deeply held beliefs, it lights up the limbic system, specifically the hypothalamus and the amygdala.
So the emotional centers, the fight or flight centers.
Correct. And the hippocampus, memory. This is so crucial for you to get. When you hold a deep conviction, you're not just using your logical brain, you're engaging your survival instincts.
That explains so much. It's why you can't just logic someone out of a deeply held belief. I'm not arguing with your logic. I'm picking a fight with your amygdala.
You're attacking their sense of safety, and the brain defends against that just as aggressively as it would against a tiger.
Suddenly, Thanksgiving dinner arguments make so much more sense.
It really does. And there's one more layer here, embodied cognition.
This was the part that suggested the brain isn't just a computer in a jar.
Right. We used to think of it as this isolated processor. But this research shows your beliefs are rooted in your physical body and how it moves through the world.
So the act of kneeling in prayer or marching in a protest, that physical action reinforces the belief.
Exactly. The belief isn't just in your head. It's in your knees, your lungs, your adrenaline. The hardware and software are totally integrated.
Okay, so we have the evolutionary why and the biological where. But how does a new belief actually get built? You don't just wake up one day convinced the moon landing was faked.
No, there's a process. And researchers Connors and Halligan propose a 5-stage model. It's like an assembly line for convictions.
I want to walk through this because it felt very Inception to me. You know, you can't just plant a complex idea.
That's a great comparison. Let's use an example. Say you're walking in the woods. You hear a loud snap and see a blurry shape.
Okay, scary woods, blurry shape. Got it.
That's stage 1, the precursor, the trigger. It could be sensory, like the noise, or social, someone telling you something.
Then comes stage 2, the search for meaning.
Right. Your brain hates ambiguity. It immediately scours its memory to explain that shape. A biologist might think, bear. A conspiracy theorist.
He's definitely going with Bigfoot. Much more exciting.
Naturally. So now we hit stage 3, evaluation. This is the critical step. It's the security guard at the club. Your brain checks it was Bigfoot against what you already accept as true.
So if I already believe in cryptids, the bouncer looks at the ID and says, yeah, looks good to me.
Exactly. But if you're a skeptic, the bouncer says, not a chance, and tosses it out. But let's say the bouncer lets it in.
We get to stage 4, belief formation.
The idea solidifies. It's not a maybe anymore. It's a fact in your mind. I saw Bigfoot.
And finally, stage 5, belief effects.
The aftermath. Now you believe in Bigfoot. You stop walking in those woods alone. You buy night vision goggles. The belief changes your behavior.
It's a slippery slope. But the really scary part, and the most relevant part for everyone listening, is at stage 3, the evaluation, that bouncer.
He's not an unbiased judge.
He's kind of corrupt, isn't he?
He is completely on the take. And this is where we get into what I call the glitch in the matrix. The science of belief is just riddled with cognitive biases.
Okay, we have to talk about the big ones. Confirmation bias is the celebrity here.
It's the classic. We search for information that concerns what we already think, and we actively ignore everything else.
But the paper mentioned one that was new to me, the backfire effect.
This one is painful. It turns out when you present someone with solid evidence that challenges a core belief, they don't just reject it. They often double down and believe their original point more strongly.
That is just maddening. Why does the brain do that?
It goes back to the amygdala. that God-neuron connection. A core belief is tied to your identity. If I attack your belief, your brain registers it as a physical attack.
So it's shields up, deflect the logic.
Exactly. And then you have the illusory truth effect. This one is simple but terrifying. Repetition makes things feel true.
If you say it enough times.
Your brain uses familiarity as a shortcut for truth. This is how propaganda works. Advertising. If you've heard it 10 times, it just must be true.
You know, there's a quote from Obi-Wan Kenobi. He says, "Many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view." He was basically teaching Luke about cognitive bias.
Obi-Wan was a dual process theorist, and he didn't even know it.
Okay, unpack that term, dual process theory.
Psychologists talk about two modes of thinking, System 1 and System 2.
And I love the analogy for this. System 1 is the Hulk.
Yes, System 1 is fast, intuitive, emotional, automatic. Hulk smashes first, asks questions later.
And System 2 is Bruce Banner.
Right. Bruce Banner is slow, analytical, logical. He takes a lot of energy. And thinking is metabolically expensive. So most of the time, we let the Hulk drive the car.
So we accept beliefs with System 1 because we're too lazy or too tired to fact-check them with System 2?
Essentially, yes. And there's a mechanism called precision-weighted prediction error that explains why the Hulk ignores facts.
That sounds incredibly technical. Explain it like I'm 5.
It's simpler than it sounds. Imagine your belief is a fortress. The precision is how thick the walls are. If you're 100% certain of something, your walls are 10 feet thick.
Yeah.
If someone shoots an arrow at the wall, new information, it just bounces off. Your brain treats that information as an error and ignores it.
So the more certain I am, the less I learn.
Yes. Uncertainty is the prerequisite for learning. If your precision is maxed out, your brain effectively stops processing contradictory evidence. You're closed for business.
That is slightly depressing. But let's zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Beliefs aren't just personal, right? They're intensely social.
This is the US versus them segment. It's called social identity theory.
We're hardwired to categorize ourselves.
It's instant. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a Gryffindor, I'm a Slytherin.
Okay, Hogwarts houses. Let's go with that.
If you identify as a Gryffindor, you trust other Gryffindors. You adopt their beliefs to signal that you belong to the tribe.
So belief isn't just about what is true. It's about who am I?
And who will protect me? And this is the kicker. If you challenge the beliefs of your group, you risk expulsion. In evolutionary terms, expulsion meant death.
Wow.
So for your brain, socially conforming beliefs are often more important than factually accurate ones. Being right doesn't matter if you're alone.
We trade truth for belonging.
We do it every single day.
Okay, there's one more area where belief crosses the line from mental to physical in this really undeniable way. We have to talk about the placebo effect.
This is my favorite part. It's the ultimate proof that belief is biological.
We usually use placebo to mean fake, like, oh, it's just a placebo, it's all in your head.
But the effects are physically real. That's the point. If you believe a pill will cure your pain, your brain initiates active inference. It predicts relief. And to make that prediction come true, it releases natural painkillers.
So your brain is literally running a pharmacy in response to a belief.
It's manufacturing the chemistry of relief based solely on expectation.
And here's the wow fact from the paper. Self-induced placebo effects.
Yes, this is the frontier. Research suggests we might be able to train ourselves to do this. You don't need the sugar pill. If you can master the belief, you can potentially trigger those physiological responses on purpose.
You can Jedi mind trick your own immune system.
Theoretically, yes. It all links back to metacognition, thinking about your thinking. If you understand how the machine works, you can start to pull the levers yourself.
Okay, let's bring this in for a landing. We've covered a massive amount of ground. What are the big takeaways for everyone listening?
I boil it down to 3 key pillars. First, belief is survival. It's not a hobby. It's the evolutionary tool that let us cooperate and build civilizations.
Right. We were built to believe. Second, the brain is a filter. We don't see reality objectively. We see a story like Welt filter through our emotional brain and a security guard who loves confirmation bias.
And third, biology meets culture. You can't separate them. Our beliefs are a remix of our hardware, those God neurons, and the software we get from our social groups.
And that brings us to the final wow. Metacognition. the ability to monitor your own confidence.
This is the hope. We aren't just robots running a program. We can step back, look at our System 1 Hulk reactions and say, wait a minute, why am I so certain about this? Is this true or is it just familiar?
We can train ourselves to be better believers.
It takes effort. It takes being Bruce Banner when you'd rather be the Hulk. But it's possible. And frankly, in the world today, it's probably necessary.
I love that. We can choose to analyze the red pill, not just swallow it.
Exactly.
Well, I think my brain is officially full. I need to go sit quietly and think about my welt for a while.
It's a heavy concept. Take your time with it.
Thank you so much for breaking all this down.
Yeah.
And to you, the listener, thank you for stepping into the lab. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that subscribe button.
Absolutely.
And I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. We established that your beliefs are shaped by ancient evolutionary drives, repeated information, and your desperate need to fit into your social tribe. So if you strip all of that away, how many of your truths are actually yours? And how many are just a story your brain wrote to keep you safe?
Now that is a dangerous question.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.